Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to learn how to create a wedding title animation inside Davinci Resolve. So we're going to get started by importing Fusion composition onto our timeline. Just search for it in the effects library and drag it onto the timeline, and go to the Fusion tab. And let's just right click on the flow and click on Arrange Tools to Grid. I'm going to move this media out to the right. And let's just make some room over here. Alright, so to start off, I'm going to use this image as a reference. So I found this image on freepik.com. It was just a wedding design invitation. I just download the image of it. I'm going to use this image to create these florals in Davinci Resolve. So let's create a background. Let's drag in the very first node, the background node, onto the flow, and onto this background node I'm going to add the paint node. And the background, right now this color is set to black. I'm going to make it transparent by just reducing the alpha to 0. So there will be no black color and only the transparent background. So I'm going to drag this paint node onto the second monitor here, or second viewer here, and just make sure you click on this paint node, and you can just then click on the polyline stroke. Just click on that to select it. And now you can zoom in to your reference image here, and you can just zoom and pan around this image. So I'm going to just keep it something like this, and now I'm just going to trace over this shape and create this shape. So I can just click once to create a point, and I can just click and hold to create another point, and with that I can just also curve it, and again click and hold and just create your path like this. And I'm just going to end it over here, something like that. And you can just change it at any point. You can go to brush controls over here on the right on the inspector tab, make sure it's enabled, and you can change the brush shape. I'm going to set this to circular, and I can just also play around with the size. Let's just zoom in and see. Let's take a look at our shape. I'm going to click on this point and make some adjustments to this, so I can just change the look of it like that. And I think it's pretty okay, so I don't have to do much. I can just reduce the size, maybe something like that. And if you go to the modifiers at the top, you have the tools, and then you have the modifiers here. Click on that, and you can see we have polyline stroke 1. So this is basically our first path. And to create more paths, you can just you can just click on the polyline stroke again, and you can see that it will add a polyline stroke 2. So now you can create more paths. So you can just zoom in, and I'll try to create another path over here of this leaf. So I can just click and hold to create this curve here, and just repeat this process. And I'm just going to do this real quick because for the sake of this tutorial, but you can just take as much time as you want with this. Okay, so once you create your shape, and after that you just have to go to modifiers, and you have polyline stroke 1 and stroke 2, and just double click on polyline stroke 1, and let's just animate it. Go to stroke controls, and you'll see right on over here. So we'll just create an animation. So make sure you're at the very first frame. Click on this icon, the diamond icon, to create a keyframe, and at that keyframe we'll set the size or the end to be at 0, and I'm going to move 30 frames forward and just increase this to 1. So you'll have this simple animation. And let's go over here at maybe 26th frame and add a keyframe on polyline stroke 2. So just double click on that, stroke controls, and create a keyframe on right on, set this to 0, and move forward to 42 or 44 and set this to 1. So now this will be our animation. Pretty cool. So now what we can do is let's just zoom out, and I'm going to add a text. So I'll just add a text node over here, and I'm going to type in my text. So let's just view this node over here and zoom out and just type in something. Alright, so I can just change the font style. You can use any font style that you want, and I'm going to merge these two together. So I'm going to merge the paint one with the text, so I can just connect the output of paint one with the output of text one, which will result in this merge node. And if we view this, this is how it will look. And right now our animation, the floral animation, is sitting on top of the text, and I want it to be on the right side of the text, and I want another one, a copy of it, on the left side. And I can also see that the stroke width is too much, so I'm going to go back to paint one and I'm going to decrease the size. So let's just undo this. I'm going to go to modifiers and I'm going to decrease the size here, so I can just change that to 45. Go to stroke 1 and set that to 45 as well. Alright, so let's just try to move it on the right side of our text. So I'm going to add a transform node, shift spacebar to get this select tool, and I'm going to type in XF on the keyboard, and you will see the transform. Click on add and we'll add a transform node, and now you can just move it wherever you want it. I'm going to move it right over here, and I'm also going to scale this down because that's too big, and somewhere over here. Now to create a copy on the left side, what you can do is on this transform node we can add another node, shift spacebar, and we can type in mirrors. So click on add, and you have mirror 1 over here. Make sure it's enable mirror and set the angle to 180, and we'll just flip it on the left side. So if you play this, this is how it is going to look. And now all we have to do is just animate our text, so we can add a follower to it. So we can just, let's just bring this over here, click on the text node and right click on the style text box and click on follower, then go to modifiers, increase the delay amount. I'm going to maybe set this to 1.3 or something, and I'm going to set the order to random but 1 by 1, and then I can go to shading and I can animate the opacity. So let's just go to the very first frame, create a keyframe on opacity, set that to 0, go forward to maybe at 24 frame. I'm going to set this to 1. So if you play this, this is how it is going to just reveal the letters randomly. Alright, that's pretty cool. We can also add more. We have so many options to add. We can animate the, let's animate the position, and let's try to go back. Let's go to the very first frame and create a keyframe on offset Z. Create a keyframe there, and maybe let's set this to the minimum. We can use the slider to -5, but we can also type in a number over here. So we can type in something like -10, and we can go forward to 24 and set this back to 0. Okay, so let's play this and see. Yeah, I think that is looking pretty cool. So all we have to do is then connect the merge with the media out, and you can now go back to your edit page. There we have our animation, and you can just add any background. So if you move the fusion clip onto the next track, then we can go to our image, or we can just drag in a video, anything that you want. Just drag it inside resolve, put it under your fusion clip, and make any changes to your image or the video if you want to. You can change the position, and yeah, that's it. That's how you can create this animation. If you play this, that's how it is going to look. So thank you for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. If it was, you know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.